Hello friends, today we're talking about habits. The title of this video is Practice, Practice, Practice. Do you think you can figure out how you get good habits? Yes, by practice, practice, practice. Now, I've heard people say, practice makes perfect or perfect practice makes perfect. The deal is we don't want perfect. I just want you to do your morning routines, for example. So let's take morning routine. Look at the morning routine. The things in the morning routine are to get up. Well, that's easy. You just get up, make your bed. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make your bed to the best of your ability on that day. Get your clothes on. Again, no perfection, just put them on. Wash your face, brush your teeth, moisturize your skin, put on a little makeup, fix your hair, wipe out the sink, swish out the toilet. These are the things we do in our morning routine. We also empty the dishwasher and maybe make a cup of coffee or start breakfast. There are other things we do in the morning which are not part of the morning routine, which are doing some laundry, getting that going, and going through your inch of paper if you still have paper clutter. Now let's say that you feel great today. And so you're gonna get up and you're gonna spring out of bed and you're gonna make your bed beautifully and you're gonna apply your moisturizer just right and you're gonna get it done and you're gonna go, go, go. You're gonna get it all done, you're gonna feel great. That was no problem, and you think, wow, this is going to be a breeze, this practice, practice, practice. And the next day you feel pretty good and you do the same thing. And the next day you feel pretty good and you do the same thing. And then the next day you're mad at your husband, or it's that time of the month, or you don't feel well for some reason and you just don't have the get up and go you had on the other days. This is why we want to continue to practice, but it doesn't have to be perfect. On those days, do the best you can, again, the best you can, and you decide what that is. So at some point, you may have to put in what I call a placeholder. And that means that you do the thing to the best of your ability. Let's say it's swishing the toilet. Pardon me. So normally you spray the toilet and you swish the bowl and you take your cloth that you wiped your sink with and you wipe the lid and you wipe the seat and lift the seat up, you do a little bit extra. But on this day, you're just not feeling it. So maybe you give one spray in the toilet bowl and you take your brush, you don't even open the lid, and you stick it in there and you go around one time. Tap it off, put it away. Or tap it off and put it under the seat to dry. That's what I call a placeholder. You didn't really do what we would consider a good swish of your toilet. However, you attempted. You did it to the best of your ability on that day based on could it just be your attitude? But you did it. And when you wipe the sink, wipe. Maybe on a good day you would wipe, polish the faucets, get behind the faucet a little bit, wipe a little bit of the edge of the counter. On those good days you might want to do it that way. But on a bad day, or maybe you're just in a huge hurry, maybe you work and you overslept, I still want you to do it. You need to do a placeholder. If you can't get the Mrs. Myers or whatever it is you keep under the sink out to spray, and you've washed your face with a cloth, and you take that same cloth and wipe the sink out, that's good enough. And then you take the toilet bowl brush and go once around the bowl without any spray, that's good enough. That is a placeholder. And guess what? You're going to feel better on another day, and you're going to do it better on another day. But you don't have to worry about being perfect, because what happens when you are trying to be perfect in your practice and you aren't, then you think, oh, well, never mind, I'm just not going to do it anymore. So practice, practice, practice. Every day, commit to practice. It might not be good, considering how well you do it on other days, but it's good enough. And that's how we do practice. Let's try it with something else. Let's say it's your laundry. My rule of laundry is it's not done until it's folded, hung up, and put away. Okay, so let's say that you put a load of darks in the washing machine and it's going. And you're having one of those days. And, when it dings or it's done or you think about it again, you go in there and you put them in the dryer. And now they're drying in the dryer. And the dryer dings and you just don't want to fold those clothes. Then don't fold the clothes. Leave them in the dryer. You haven't done laundry yet. They're ready for you to process, but you haven't done it yet. And maybe later in the day, you start to feel a little better. And you can say, okay, I'm going to fold the kids' clothes or whatever it is. So warm it up. turn it back on for a few minutes, warm it up, because there's nothing nicer than folding warm clothes. When you have to fold cold, wrinkled, crunchy clothes that have just been sitting in the dryer, that's when it's icky. That's when it's not fun, because we're a lot about textures and fragrances, and this is kind of the things that attract us. So when you're getting the clothes out, give them a shake and lay them flat in the basket. And then when you get into the room to fold the clothes, whether it be right there at the dryer, or maybe you like to sit on the couch or whatever, then you start folding the clothes. And you know what? Let's say it takes you 30 minutes when normally it takes you 7. Who cares? And then what are you going to do? You do have to practice putting the clothes away. It's part of your thing. So you go into, if it's children's clothes, you go into their room. It depends on the age of your children. I like children to do their own clothes when they're 9 or older. But if they're younger, let's say you have an 8-year-old, and you typically just put their clothes on their bed, then the thing that you're going to have to do next is inspect what you expect. If you don't feel like doing that, then I suggest just put the clothes away yourself. It's easier than going in there. If you don't feel like it, you just have a bad attitude, or you have cramps, or you're hormonal, or you're depressed over something, or you're mad at your husband, or whatever it is that happens in real life. On those days, I would just say, hang the things up that need to be hung up, put the things in the dresser that need to be put in the dresser. Because if you leave them on the bed, then you're going to have to inspect what you expect, and you know what that entails. You have to have the energy to do that. You have to say, oh no, Megan, come here, honey. Look where these clothes are. They're on the floor, and I spent 30 minutes folding these clothes today. You pick them up and fold them up. Nope, that's not how you fold. You don't have the energy for that, because you want to teach. On those occasions, you can just say, baby, I put your clothes up for you today. And she'll say, oh, Mom's nice. And you don't have to have that interaction that takes so much energy. Okay? That's a little cheat for you, but that's actually how we get through the day. That's a placeholder. I did it for you, baby. Oh, thanks, Mommy. Okay? And then the day you feel good, then you could say, okay, here's your clothes. Now, next year, you're going to be old enough to do it yourself. I can't wait for you to learn how. You're going to be so excited. But in the meantime, here's your things. Go ahead and put them in your drawer, and I'll come back in a minute and check. And you go back in a minute, and it's not in the drawer yet. And you say, uh-oh, you didn't put them in your drawer yet. Put your pajamas in your drawer right now while I stand here. So you don't have the energy for that right now, but on another day you will. When you don't have the energy, you're going to leave them there for an hour or two, and then you're going to come back, and she's laid on the bed, and things have been knocked on the floor, and somebody stepped on something, and the dog got something. It's just a big mess. So just on those days, do your little shortcut, and that's put the clothes away for her. That's just one of many, many, many examples of placeholders and making it through the day in your practice. Okay, let's go to one more thing. Let's say that it is weekly home blessing hour. And it's you, no one else. You don't have anybody to delegate to. The kids are too small, whatever. So you're going to remember when you do weekly home blessing hour that you're just blessing the house. You're not deep cleaning. So if it takes less than an hour, that's perfectly okay. So let's say that you get out your little vacuum cleaner, you're totally not motivated, and you just turn it on and you do 5 backs and forths in one room. And then you go to the next room and you do 5 back and forths in that room. And then you go to the next room and you do 5. That's what I would say is a minimum amount. In the end, you've done 5 rooms or 25 back and forths and you're done. For the mopping, you're just going to mop in front of the stove, mop in front of the sink. That's it. Now, who's to say, once you get things out, you may feel a little more inspired. But if you need to do a placeholder, that's what you're going to do that week. And if for some reason you realize that you just didn't even follow your planner and you didn't do your weekly home blessing hour, I want you to give yourself grace and say, you know what? I'll do it again next week. Don't try to make up for lost time. Just give yourself grace. But I'd really rather you practice, because we're trying to get habits going so that if it does fall on a bad day, you at least know what to do. You just do a little bit. You just do it kind of halfway, okay? All right, that's it for today. I hope this helps, and I'm glad to know that you're practicing, and your habits are being established. Have a wonderful day, and always remember to be beautiful, because you are beautiful.